Good evening. Glad to have the opportunity to come and talk to you just a little bit about the Bible. It's always hard to do something short, especially for me in talking. I will attempt tonight, and hopefully you will get something out of it. It is fun to teach, it's fun to talk, but it's also a burden too. What to say, how to influence people, those types of things. It's also a great encouragement, and I challenge everyone to do that, to teach someone about the Bible. And I wanted to look at one of the probably the greatest sermon ever spoke, Sermon on the Mount. And a lot of times we go from Matthew chapter 5, verses 3, all the way to the end of 7. But we were doing a little studying during the ice storm, and I was looking at the first verse. In the first verse, I'll be reading from the New King James Version in Matthew chapter 5, verse 1. And seeing the multitude, he went up on the mountain, and when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying. First, on a funny note, I wonder how long I could teach if I was sitting down. Because Jesus did that right here. He was seated with his disciples. Sometimes we don't have to always stand up and be the thing that we teach. Sometimes it's us sitting down doing the right thing. But with that being said is that this sermon started off with composure. Started off with him sitting down, and he was provoked by this with the multitude. We have opportunity. That's what I see in this right here. There's always an opportunity where you can see it. I know if you're a business person, you see the opportunity of how to invest your money. If you're a teacher, you see how you can invest your time with your students. If you're a nurse, you see how you invest your time to heal your patients. So you have all these types of opportunities in our lives. I look at the Sermon on the Mount. There is so much in there. And it's like almost intimidating. But I remember that this is not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and probably not the 100th time that I've heard this over the years of my life, because it's been taught to me. People have valued this enough to teach people about it and to go back and for me to read and learn more about it too. Many of us have had opportunity to do that. And I go back to one of my friends in college. They asked, "You go to church how many times?" Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, other times, and gospel meetings, others, these types of things. When we have the opportunity, sometimes we have to work, sometimes we can do everything else. And I'm really glad that we have those nurses and other people that are doing those things, because they really help. But we have opportunity. And they could not comprehend or process how you could study that much about the Bible and keep studying about it. And I want to encourage the young ones, the older young ones, the older young ones, and those beyond that age, that keep studying. Also, I really love the idea of reading the whole Bible. Sometimes I read it slowly. Sometimes I read it faster. Sometimes I semi-cheat and use the little play button on my app on my phone, and I listen to it instead of reading it all the time if my eyes get tired or something else. But it is very encouraging to have this accessibility to data. But after all this being said, and all these 3 chapters, you can go about being a light in the world, a model prayer, all of the lamp of your body. You can about not worry, all these other things. But at the very end of all this, what does it talk about? It talks about the very end of all this is about the wise man and foolish man. The wise man is the one who hears and does the things. And the foolish man is the one that hears and does not do it. And when they have those in the sand moves. And when they have those straight storms in life, what was it? And that great was the fall. So a lot of times we need to make sure our foundation is in God, on that rock. Make sure that we're hearers and doers of the word. This is more of a reminder and encouragement to read your Bibles and to study and to listen to these wonderful teachers we have here. And it amazes me over the years of these different things. As a side note, when I first heard a long time ago when we started talking about the temple, and I was like, why Do we need to study about how they put the temple together? And then later on, you figure it out. Of course, I know the reasons why we study about the kings of old, because we study about how they mess up and how they did good, mostly how they mess up. But you learn these mistakes where you don't have to repeat them. So over and over in life right there is so much good that we can come from the Bible in our studying. And also, I'm really proud of my class and many of the other classes around the class, how they're growing and growing. And some have grown much. They have some of those many folds you talk about. And there's so much more to do. I encourage all you to be those type of people. And at this time, if anyone's subject to the Lord's invitation, come now, with Together We Stand and Sing.